And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another week, another edition of the Korean StarCraft League, the KSL week number 53. I'm, of course, host Light VIP, and with me, I'm joined by these amazing players, the people in the chat, and the plushies as well. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to another week of the KSL. This is once again a little bit different. We're going to be entering a replay cast here as this event occurred over the weekend. Of course, if you were here over the weekend, you'd be aware that we had Home Story Cup. Home Story Cup was over Saturday and Sunday. It was a 3-day event, I guess Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and we were otherwise busy and preoccupied covering it. We were the B stream, and it's a pretty long cast. It was that's a bit of an understatement. Day 1 was 11 hours. Day 2 was 10 hours. So we were quite busy with the Home Story Cup over the weekend. And because of that, I wasn't able to cover the KSL live. They didn't clash necessarily, but basically, if I wanted to cover KSL, I would not be able to sleep. And sleeping is nice. At some point, sleep is nice. So I wasn't able to cast it live, but that is why we are here to go over the replays. To go over the replays of what did occur over the weekend. There is, of course, the bracket link in the chat. Be wary of the bracket link, as there are spoilers there. Likewise, if you happen to watch it live, I believe it was casted by Chickenman and Dave Testa. But Chickenman and Dave Testa, they host the event, they run the event, and they covered it themselves. If you happen to have tuned in, then no spoilers in the chat, as we will be vigilant while making sure that we don't spoil each other. Again, I have avoided like the Wikipedia page and all that good stuff. I'm just jumping in blind, as we always do, to embrace all this amazing and beautiful StarCraft. Also, before we dive into things, if you want to help support this tournament series, !KSL in the chat, there is a Patreon. There is a Patreon to this event. There's a Patreon to the KSL. This event is funded and supported by the community for the community. So if you want to help boost this event, you can do so via Patreon. You can gain some benefits. You know, there's some roles on Patreon. There's replay packs as well if you want some of these replays yourself to learn, or even cast yourself, or do with what you so want, or so choose. They got you covered. They got you covered with the Patreon. Check it out. Check it out. Support it if you wish. Otherwise, we're jumping in. We are jumping into our first series of the night. You can see here before you, it's been a while. It's been a while since we've casted MeomaikA. Like every now and then we cast MeomaikA and OSC King the Hill, but alas, he's not as active as he once was. I would love to embrace some more MeomaikA. So up first, we have MeomaikA versus NightMare. Let's go. For those who are unaware, MeomaikA is the king of the sea, and for a time, he was a beast, he was a titan. He would threaten other top-tier players like Maru, players like Spirit, players like Showtime, players like Hearthstone. They would fall prey to MeomaikA. It's been a while, though, and again, MeomaikA nowadays, I believe he's not full-time like he once was a couple of years ago. Regardless, that's why I'm happy to see him in this bracket, happy to embrace MeomaikA whenever we can, and we're jumping to game 1 on Alkyone. Let us go. Likewise, NightMare has also been on the rise as of late. Ever since joining Bleed Esports, NightMare has been getting a lot of support. NightMare has been improving quite a lot. I would say that NightMare currently, his worst matchup is still PvZ, but I mean, his PvT is world class, so is his PvP. Like, NightMare has become very much so a player of his own. He's still a little bit in the shadow of someone like Hero, for example, but Hero is literally the best Protoss in all of South Korea. NightMare is not too far behind him. As spawning in the top right-hand corner of Alkyone, we have our South Korean Protoss player, the blue Protoss, representing Bleed Esports. It is NightMare. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the red Zerg player representing Team Gosu. It is MeomaikA. From land of Vietnam, let's go. Again, the last king of the sea. You do love to see it. Ah, the crown. He's beautiful. You do love to see it here, and we're going for a pool first. Now, if you're familiar with MeomaikA's play style, it's been a while, but he does often go pool first in every single matchup, except for ZVZ. ZVZ does go for more standard builds, openers at times. But the pool first is just a safety pool first. Don't read too much into it. MeomaikA can be fluid with this and can use this to go into a faster Roach Warren, but for the most part, it is just a safety feature here for MeomaikA. Will delay his economy as a result of this, will delay his gases, but MeomaikA is more than happy to cut corners, or more than happy to put behind his economy in favor of just a safer start. Make sure that he doesn't get cheese, make sure he doesn't get cannon rushed, make sure the Protoss doesn't get anything crazy going on. As spawning pool is done, you can see that a queen is on the way. We make a pair of lings, but even with the pool first, we're only making 2 lings. We have the option, if you go pool first, to make a pair of 2, 4, or 6 lings. You can move out with 6 lings, but as we can see here, it's just going to be a light commitment to ling aggression. Mainly going to be droning, mainly going to be macroing from here. As I mentioned before, whenever we see MeomaikA go pool first, it's just a safety thing. Oh my god. The probe somehow stays hidden. That should not have happened, but NightMare, he is somehow able to keep the probe hidden here from MeomaikA. Lings are moving out. The probe can go back in for a secondary scout. Very important here that we confirm whether or not we have a roach warren or a baleen nest on the way, just because of the earlier commitment here from MeomaikA. Regardless, back at home, just going to be a gate expand into Cybercore. Nothing too crazy here from NightMare. Soon going for his tech in the main base. We have the pylon and we have the Stargate. Going to be a Stargate opener. Lings don't quite get across the map as we do stay back at home. The probe does confirm saturation at the natural, and we do get behind the mineral line. So a nice follow-up scout here out of NightMare. Does confirm no hidden tech. No baleen nest, no roach warren, no nothing. No lair either. So nice follow-up scout there out of NightMare. Is going to be shut down. Now when I say no lair, I believe we have not pulled out of gas for one reason, and one reason only. We should be rushing towards a lair here if this is the MeomaikA that we know and love. The reason why we would rush into a lair is to take additional gases and go into an insanely fast Hydra Den. That is the typical go-to build of MeomaikA in ZVP, is essentially 2-base Hydra. There it is! Ah, beautiful. Fast lair here from MeomaikA in the main base. We should be taking a second and a third gas. There we go. Second gas already being taken here at the natural base. And we should be working towards Hydra production. Meanwhile, NightMare following this up with a Void Ray. Interesting. So it's going to be a Void Ray opener out of NightMare, not an Oracle. The Void Ray is going to be hunting down this Overlord. And NightMare is even aware of its location. I believe the rally was set towards the back of the main. We'll double check that. Regardless, NightMare, he's more focusing and fixated on denying vision, denying scouting. Meanwhile, show us our tech. We're getting there. We're fully saturating on 2 gases for the time being. We should be seeing a third gas momentarily. We'll see what MeomaikA does embrace with his lair. And there it is. The Void Ray will hunt down the first Overlord. Keep MeomaikA in the dark. There it is. There's the third gas that we did speak about. We have our gas set up for that build. Meanwhile, Oracle's on the way. A first Adept shading across the map. Nice scout here from NightMare, or attempted scout, is going to be moving out with the Adept, with the Oracles. We'll see what NightMare can get his eyes on. Oh, as he's playing this out very safe, that is a shield battery and a second pylon. My apologies, I did miss this. But NightMare overreacting a little bit here to the aggression of MeomaikA. There's that Hydra that we spoke about. Again, Ling Hydra is MeomaikA's go-to in this matchup. He does hit a very, very scary and very powerful Hydra timing, typically. We'll see if we can get there. We have Oracle towards the left and Void Ray towards the right. We're going for the mineral lines. We're going for the economy. Gases have been spotted. Gases have been confirmed. We haven't seen any tech yet. We're rushing into a fleet. Oh my god. Oh my god. NightMare, calm down. We confirm lack of saturation. That's a big tell here. No saturation at the third base. The base itself is under fire. We have a Forge second Stargate and Fleet Beacon on the way. NightMare, he's looking to rush into Tempest. I'm assuming it's Tempest. Carriers are also viable, but Tempest is seen more often than not. Ooh, as the Oracle will barely escape. Barely does get away. And what's it going to be? Fleet Beacon is done. A Stargate is done as well. Or about to finish up the second Stargate at least. My god. That's a lot of static defense, papi. We got a wall of cannons. We got some shield batteries on the way. Stargates are finishing up and can show us the Tempest. Tempest production here out of NightMare already on the horizon. And MeomaikA, I'm not actually... I think I actually like his position here. I mean, it's hard to say where we attack. Right, we're building up Ling Hydra, we're working up towards our push. MeomaikA, his saturation is quite delayed because he's been hyper-fixated on Lings and Hydra production. So we're pretty all in. This is sub 3-base saturation and MeomaikA is moving out. Now, on the one hand, it's going to be difficult to break the third. With cannons, shield batteries, with an overcharge, with force fields, this third base looking quite secure. The natural less so. If we did move out towards the natural base, I do think there's potential with this army, but trying to break the third is going to be very difficult, and we'll see how we go. Drones are going to be going down. Oh, MeomaikA forced back home. I guess forced back home, but no, he does turn back around. He's going to be committing. He will commit. Bailings is done. Bailings will be ideal against this if we did want to break the third base. Bailings, they can just shut down the cannons and shield batteries. Force field's going to be so important here for NightMare. He sees the Bailings. He's aware. He's aware what's going on. Tempests are revealed. Up until now, MeomaikA wasn't fully aware of what was going on. And the Bailings, they have morphed in. And what do we go for? Again, the natural or the third? We're going for the natural. Up, up. Oh my god. We're trying to pick and choose, and we do force out those. We do at least force out the force fields. Force fields are thrown down. Likewise, force field of the natural as well. So far, this is doing nothing. Oh my, the force fields! They are running out. And the Bailings, they will crash into the cannons. Cannons go down. Shield batteries as well. There's still one shield battery in the back line. It gets depowered. But where are the Hydras? The Hydras, they are gone. They got focused down by the Tempest. GG gets called. And NightMare holds. NightMare takes game number 1. Whew. GG. Very impressive defense there by NightMare. Very impressive force fields to be able to slow down the army, and he was able to focus on every single Hydra. It meant that even though the Link Bane did clean up and shut down all the static defense, it did not matter because nothing else showed up. We were completely all in. We spoke about how little saturation there was at the third. It was, what, 50 workers? It was around 50 or so drones. Just a very low economy there for MeomaikA. Very committed, and alas, did not break through. GG. GG, well played. Whew. And I wonder, what's our plan here in our next game? Where we headed? Where we dropping? Game 2 going to be loading into Oceanborn. And MeomaikA, he's very fond of this build, of the Ling Hydra all-in. Is quite fond of it, but I'm curious how we adapt and what we embrace coming into game number 2. We'll see. As spawning in the top left-hand corner of Oceanborn, we have our South Korean Protoss player, the Blue Protoss, representing Bleed Esports, leading the series 1-0. It is NightMare. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner, we have okay. For a moment, I thought we were going gas first. You got me excited, Papi. We have the Vietnamese Zerg player, the Red Zerg, representing Team Gosu. It is the last king of the sea, MeomaikA. Here we go. That engagement by NightMare was discussing. I mean, that's the power of, or that's the downside of going Ling Hydra. Is if you're going for a Ling Bane Hydra based composition in this matchup, as you saw, force fields are king. Like, force fields are so brutal. You lack Ravagers, right? Without, I mean, typically Roach Ravager is your go-to composition in this matchup for good reason. Without any Ravagers to pile down those walls, I mean, force fields are ideal, and we saw just how insane the initial defense was from NightMare. And again, it was one of those things where, I mean, sure, eventually the force fields went down, eventually they ran out, but by then, like, the damage was done. By then, like, NightMare had just picked MeomaikA apart. It was impressive. Impressive stuff there at NightMare. But now we're settling in. Now we're going to be calming things down, and this time, Meo going for 15-15. Okay, interesting here. So this time MeomaikA goes for a later spawning pool. Spawning pool is later than that of game 1. So this is not your typical MeomaikA opener. I'm curious how this all plays out. I'm curious what this all leads into. We'll see if we invest into link speed. We'll see where we go from here. I would not be opposed to roaches even. I mean, hey, we're on Oceanborn. 3 base all-ins. They're ideal on Oceanborn. We see them quite often indeed. I wouldn't be surprised if MeomaikA did embrace that. We'll keep an eye on him. We will keep an eye on him. Meanwhile, across the map, we're throwing down our tech of choice. Pylon is about to finish up. We are poised for another Stargate opener. I'm not so certain if NightMare is going to be embracing another Tempest Rush again, but should be at least, yeah, the Stargate for the Oracle to get across the map. So far everything looking normal, looking standard from NightMare, but after what we saw in the last game, clearly he's willing to spice things up. Like, clearly, NightMare willing to have some fun here. Rushing into Tempest. So we'll see what he does in game 2. But now, third base soon to be taken. NightMare's in position to delay that third, could even pylon block as well. Oh. Thankfully, the Queen is in position. There's our pylon has been thrown down. Now, ideally, this pylon stands the test of time. We're able to buy time for the Adept to get across the map. Meanwhile, Adept is in position at the right-hand side. We do delay the third. Oh my god, the drone does go down. Brutal position here for MeomaikA. He is stuck on 2 bases. The pylon is cancelled. The Adept is in position, ready to deny the drone once again. So brutal position here. Meanwhile, it's going to be a Void Ray open at NightMare once again, going for the Void Ray. And we do not pull out of gas. We're rushing into a very fast lair. I'll say 3:15-ish lair timing. Adepts, they do commit to the shade. Ooh, 2 Adepts behind the mineral line, and they're getting damage done. Yeah, Lings are going down. Drones are being... No, not like this. Drones are going down as well. A brutal position here. Nothing going right for MeomaikA, and NightMare will take the series 2-0. GG. Oh, brutal. Brutal series. I mean, game 1 was more back and forth. Game 2 was more brutal. It wasn't just the fact that those Adepts were getting drone kills. Remember, the Adepts also delayed and denied the 3rd base. MeomaikA, he was stuck on 2 bases. He was losing drones, bleeding out Lings. That was a disastrous start. Even if it wasn't for the drone kills, like, delaying the 3rd base for that long was insane. To get 2 drone kills, to quite 2 drone kills, but to get a drone kill and to, again, delay that expansion, contain on 2 bases. I feel for MeomaikA, Papi. I feel for it. We've all been there. We've all been there. If the early game doesn't go your way, things can very quickly escalate out of control. And with that, we do have NightMare advancing on.